You think this world is what it seems? Like everything we see and touch and hear is the whole story? Let me tell you something. You have no idea what this spiritual war is really all about. We're so inundated with worrying about bills and a job and what people think of us and what's trending on social media. And meanwhile, there is a war raging. And I'm not talking about a physical war, not just a political war, a war for your soul, a war for your mind, and a war for your God-given purpose. And it's not fought with bombs and guns. It is fought in the unseen. It's fought in your thoughts, your choices, and every little moment where good and evil collide. So I'm going to tell you something most people will not dare to say out loud. If you're not aware of this war and you're just kind of like floating through life thinking everything's just random and coincidental and meaningless, you're losing, my friend. So I want to break this down and kind of get into what this spiritual war is all about. It's good versus evil, but it's not just that. It's about control, ultimately. The control of your destiny, the control of your thoughts, the control of your soul. And it's about whether you're going to live a life in alignment with your higher purpose or fall victim to the very abundant chaos and lies of this broken world. There's abundance in both, good and chaotic, bad. And the battlefield is in your mind and soul. So that's where it's happening. And it's not just, in the world, tangibly, physically, it's going on inside you and inside every human. Okay? Your mind is a battlefield, and the enemy knows that if they can control your mind, you're a puppet. They've got you. They don't need chains and prisons. They just need your thoughts to work against you and into the favor of their control. Think about it, literally, how many times in a day do you doubt yourself? How many times do you feel overwhelmed or angry or hopeless or lost? And life's just hard, really hard. Seems like there's no way out. That's the enemy at work. That's the devil in your head that wants you to give up and say that you're not enough, and it just attacks ruthlessly. Okay, and most people have submitted so long ago they don't even realize they're under fire, because this world programs us to think that we're powerless, to believe that we're just another cog in the machine, and you're not powerless. Okay, you're a warrior. And you were born for this fight. If you're watching this video, I can guarantee that. But you can't win a war if you don't know that you're in one. That's the thing. And it can be very, very disheartening and unsettling whenever you figure that out that you have been in one. Okay? So we need to talk about the enemy, and it's not just the devil, though he's definitely involved. The enemy comes in forms of systems, ideologies, and the people that are being used as tools to distract and destroy you. And the enemy's number one weapon is always going to be deception. So they want you to be blind. They want you to be confused. They want you to be so wrapped up in distractions that you never stop to ask questions and think critically. Why am I here? What's my purpose? Who benefits if I stay stuck? Most people aren't asking that. They just go with the flow. Okay. But if you look in the world around you, if you look at the media, if you look at politics, if you look at entertainment, any of this stuff, it's just designed to keep you numb, distracted, and weak. They feed your fear, your lust, your greed, your envy, because those are the sins that they know will pull you away from the truth. And they want you to be focused on the temporary so you can never reach the eternal meaning and truth, the higher truth. Okay? The enemy knows your potential a lot of times better than you do, and that's the unfortunate advantage that the enemy can have, because the enemy sees your light, your gifts, your mission, and the enemy's terrified of it. Because if you wake up and if you realize who you are and what you're actually capable of, their entire system falls apart and is shattered like the walls of Jericho. This is what's really at stake in this war. It's literally the fiber of your soul, and not just your soul, but the souls of every single person that you touch and influence in your life. So if you don't step into your purpose, and if you don't fight back, and if you don't win, the enemy just wins by default because you didn't even participate. I would like to say that you're not just put on this earth to survive, but you're here to think critically, to thrive, to create, to inspire, and to illuminate a dark world. Because the enemy wants you living in fear and survival, because a fearful person is an obedient person. A person in survival mode isn't afforded the ability to dream or fight or think critically. So this war is about generations. It's about people that you're going to inspire and lives that you're going to touch and people's and legacy that you'll leave and people's lives that you'll make better through getting them enlisted in this. Because the enemy is robbing you, and not only that, it's robbing every single person that you're meant to impact, which is a lot more than you probably might think right now. Because this stuff works in like a, I don't know, like an echo, but you consider yourself a chosen one, and you always kind of like, I remember in 5th grade, I remember had this obsessive thought that I was the only real person in the world and everybody else was a robot. And I don't think that's just by happenstance. I don't think it's some random thought, because looking at the events in my life now, it's like something is to this. I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but there's definitely something set apart, something greater that I'm meant to realize. And, being on that path is not easy, because you face so many more attacks, so much more challenges, and so much more resistance. And it's hard to kind of like perceptualize all of it, because you've probably went through this stuff and then you were gaslit to HE double hockey sticks by the entire world, saying that just excuses, or saying that's just how it is. And that's not really how it is for everybody. It was a lot harder on you, but you get gaslit. So you get conditioned and programmed into accepting this stuff as just how it is. But you can fight a war that you can see. So you have to have awareness, because you can't fight a war you don't know you're in. And you have to understand the reality of the battle and stop fighting your instincts, because there is a voice inside you that tells you the right way to go. But the world tries to get you to shut off your instincts, your gut feeling, stuff like that. So you want to study, you want to, do things. You need spiritual armor in this fight. So faith is the most important thing. And, that's going to include being mindful of what you consume. Try to cut out negativity, fear-mongering, and distractions, and focus on truth, wisdom, and growth. Now, I will say that if you're in this fight, you're going to catch a lot of negativity. So you have to think more positive than whatever negative it is. Because what's the whole point here is we're trying to figure out methods of thought and systems on how we can overcome the negative. Because, we don't want to live in some sugarcoat, but at the same time, we do want to always know that there's a way to navigate through these challenges with seamless skill, tact, and effort, and grace. And, eventually getting aligned with your mission and your values and your calling throughout this journey. And you can have faith in knowing that the victory is already written. So this war is brutal, but victory is already written. The light wins, okay? Truth wins. Love wins. But you got to choose what side you're on, and you got to step into the fight and claim your victory that's already yours. So, I know I had that video last night about just tell people what they want to hear, and I'll make a separate video on what I really meant by that. It's just don't get yourself caught up. I'll just say real quick, don't get yourself caught up in people that aren't willing to hear the truth, okay? You're not meant to run from the truth or ignore it. You're born for this moment, and you were chosen to be a warrior in this battle. So it is up to what you do, and it is up to you to snap out of sleepwalking through life and letting the enemy control your mind and steal your purpose. And it is about you stepping up and playing the role that you were destined to play, which is the best role. It's the most challenging role, but the role can be yours because the choice is yours. So the world is waiting for you to rise. There's people that you're going to benefit from helping them wake up that are terrified of the same kind of stuff, and they are just paralyzed in this matrix, and they're counting on you. And you have to stand up and fight back. And you don't know how much power you truly hold. But what I meant by that video last night is you're going to have so much negativity thrown at you, and there's enemies that come, and they don't have they're not interested in. Some people will try to communicate with you, and they don't have a good intention other than to try to bring negativity to you, try to push you down, try to say whatever. And the best thing you can do is detach, because if it bothers you, the more it's going to be effective. And so the more people like that, and the enemy's going to send people like that at you to try to submit you. So you have to tell the truth. The truth is important, but there's some situations where it's just not productive at all. And telling the truth is just going to get you in predicaments that are not necessary. like, you don't, and use common sense, you know? I mean, obviously you're not probably going to you go into a store and there's like a big 700-pound person or something. You're not going to go tell them that, you know, whatever, you get what I'm saying. So, you know, just use discernment. And really, I definitely didn't word that video correct, but everything I said in it is true. Just use common sense on when to apply that sentiment and when to not, because there's just certain situations where it just does not behoove anybody at all, and it actually takes away from your mission to reveal the truth in the bigger picture. So anyways, hope this video helped you out. I just wanted to let you know that, yeah, this spiritual warfare is very real. Anybody with any kind of the eyes can see and ears that hear, like me in that 5th grade, thinking that I was the only real person and everybody else was a robot. I thought that life was one big test, and that, you know, every single person in the world was reacting depending on what, like, so if I got up and walked outside and there was somebody walking down the sidewalk, that person was like, every robot human in the world was just like reacting to my whatever I did. So depending on what I would do would literally would literally create the outcome of what happens in the entire world. And like, that's pretty young to be having a thought like that. And I can't really explain it, but it was obsessive. Like, I try not to think about that, but I could not stop thinking about that when I was in 5th grade. And I remember that was a year that I had a really, really mean teacher. So I don't know if that had something to do with it or not, but she like targeted me. So I was always getting, you know, she didn't treat the other kids as bad as she did me for no reason, which happened to me a lot in school. But anyways, just something to think about. Like, that's what I'm trying to say with that, is that your instincts tell you something, and the world, like in 5th grade with that teacher, tries to get you to not listen to your instinct. Now, obviously my gut instinct might have not been 100% right that everyone's a robot, but there's some level of truth that my spirit was trying to get me to realize. And everybody has this power, every human, but most people turn it off because the world turns it off for them before they ever realize the power that they truly hold. So anyways, if you like this video, make sure you get a conversation started in the comments, share it with anybody who you think could benefit from its message. I'll see you guys on the next one.